goes. It seems like it should be a simple thing. I'm just trying to say something here. Starting over. Okay. Um, from the beginning, I have not said anything about what has happened as far as the attaining of a new president, a new um, commander in chief. Everybody seems to be kind of traumatized about it. Um, I'm not traumatized about Trump winning the presidency. I'm not even traumatized about people voting for him because I feel like Donald Trump, being a self made man with his own money outside of the government's pockets, has the potential to do a lot of good because he won't be able, he has potentially won't be able to be swayed by people who are trying to advance their agendas through the government's pockets. So, um, like corrupted government officials, you know, it would be harder for them to get to him. Now, um, that being said, congratulations, Donald Trump, on your win of the presidency. Um, I think right about now you are probably starting to panic because I don't think you ever started this thinking that you would actually win. I don't think a lot of people didn't think that you would win. For a long time, I was one of those people, but towards the end, I was like, well, he might surprise people, and I don't want to go off on like a tangent talking about how we didn't have no good options because I didn't vote for you, but I also didn't vote for Hillary. So we did have options. You know, on my ballot, there was a space where you could even wrote in somebody's name. All the people that was, loving Bernie Sanders for the past how many years, they didn't show up. I don't know what happened. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to devolve into, me talking about how everybody's sheep and the media twists and turns and all that shit. It's like, because once I get into that tangent, it just leaves everybody feeling hopeless and no questions get answered. Everybody can say, yeah, okay, we know all that. We know all that, but what are you doing to change it? What is he gonna do to change it? This, that, and the other. Every politician always making these promises, but now where we are now, nobody's even making promises no more. It's just like, she did this, well, he did that. Well, what are you gonna do? Well, what are you gonna do? It's like that. But it's not just you. You know what I'm saying? It's not even just. This has evolved. Let's go get into this. This is your first discourse. Okay, I'm here to help. Yes, I am, because you have lived long enough to know there's a lot of motherfuckers that will just try to be around you just so they can get in your pocket. That shit is about to get worse. Because now it's not even about the money anymore. It's about controlling not only this government, but the governments that we got our hands in they cookie jars. You're not a politician. I'm not trained in politics. I didn't go to school for that or nothing like that, but I did live in DC like long enough to see firsthand, how this shit really works. So, I'll give you a little leg up, you know, because there's no training course for this. There's no schooling. There's no course that could possibly prepare you for the next 4 years on what you about to experience. Is yeah. Well, let's get into it. Now that you're there, or here, I should say, and this is our reality, I just want you to know that you have my full support. Because, you know, people are always going to be hating you and throwing shit at you and booing you and telling you you're not doing a good enough job. But it's not enough for you to sit back and just be like, I don't give a fuck what you think anymore. You can't do that anymore. As a president, you have to care. And that sucks on a level when it's people that's trying to destroy you, because you're supposed to be bigger than that, you know. But help, do what I can. You're gonna learn today, and in the years to come. So I'll tell you where my head is at, and I probably can say this. I can only speak really for myself, but I can say this probably empathizing with most Americans. I am interested in ending our current war, stopping an impending one, redistributing our imports and exports and the supply and demand for them, integrating some new social structures that will clean up our young and dumb economy in our country in general, because I love America. I know that sounds so corny, like, because there's been so much shameless acts, so many shameless acts that are perpetuated through politics and the media that kind of make you ashamed going abroad to admit to being American. Like, people who travel know what I'm talking about. Overseas, if you say you're American, you might get some oohs and ahs in certain places, but a lot of times, especially over in Europe, they're just like, this motherfucker's obnoxious, and a lot of times it's true. So I'm gonna take you to church too, because nowadays more and more of our American people are, I'll say this, more of our nationality, because we're all Americans, ethnicity aside. I'm black, you're white. We were both born here though, so for real, we like the same thing. And even the people who have actually the rightful claim to this country are so far removed from their original culture and principles that we are all something completely different from where we started. And it's fair to say, in the 300 short years that our country has existed, that we are Americans. Now, putting that in perspective, our customs and culture being one of the youngest and most powerful establishments in the world today is like giving a machine gun to like a teenager who's like really hard up to just kind of dominate everything, because he's just like so pumped off steroids and testosterone. He just wants to just fuck shit up. So that's how I see our country. We're like kind of like a, what the, no, oh no, disaster. We're like a bully in a lot of ways. Um, let me get into that too. So I want you to understand first and foremost, um, one of our biggest issues in America is that Americans of all ethnic backgrounds are losing faith in God. And I'm not just talking about like Jews and Christians and Muslims, um, you know, because the separations between just these religions, these faiths, you know, is enough to drive people crazy. You know what I'm saying? You could debate somebody back and forth, you know, why Islam is terrorist group, but you know, you got your Westboro Baptist Church. And even before that, you know what I'm saying, your KKK was burning up fucking crosses on people's lawns, and the fucking Spanish Inquisition kind of wrecked a lot of people's shit and torture. So Christianity and all that, you know, all that great and innocent in the grand scheme of things. You're like, well, then you left out Judaism, but didn't they kill Jesus? Didn't the Jews kill Jesus? No, 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 no. You're not supposed to talk about that. Okay, let's bring it back on the level. Losing faith in God, you easily start to lose faith in humanity as a result. So, I want you and everybody who sees this, watches this video, to realize that you and I live in a world that would not exist at all in government structure without, at first, the divine platform to define a ruling class official in the first place. In the oldest accounts of history, a sage or a shaman was appointed the village elder. In the later and greater civilizations, divine right was the tie that bound the dynasties of pharaohs, emperors, sultans, kings, and so on. So forth. And now today, we try and separate church and state, but this is like shearing the wool from a sheep, you know. It's just gonna grow back because that's where wool comes from. But the problem is the power has been corrupted and then passed through the hands of more corrupted people. So it's like, you know, when you have a picture on the internet, a JPEG, and some of the oldest memes, like how now they're like 3 fucking pixels because they just been around so long and resaved and resaved and resaved, and over time they just not crispy no more because who knows what that original file is, and you know, compressing something over and over again just, you know, it corrupts the JPEG. So it's like that with power too. You know, people establish certain laws and guidelines, and you know, passing that through the hands of people that they teach to follow these guidelines that they themselves have established on corruption or in the root of corruption. They further corrupt it. So it's been going on for at least 300 years, okay? Because we all know what happened when, you know, everybody who ain't Native American got here. You know, it was bloody, it was gory, it was something that we teach in our history classes in part. But, you know, we need to shift the focus on all of this stuff, because remember all the fucked up shit that happened and saying we teach this because we don't want it to happen again. it's not having that effect. You're just teaching us, you know, all the terrible things that got us these liberties that we, all our ancestors and forefathers had to pave this way for us. I don't want to set us free. I want to set everybody free from these chains that we have on our minds. Not just the black people, because we got a real pro-black, black power thing going on. We got a real pro-feminist movement going on right now. We got a real pro-LGBT A to Z movement going on right now. But I'm not trying to put a label on this. I'm talking about Americans, because this is where we are right now. We live in America. We gotta fucking get our shit together first, and then once we are golden, we can expand and give, not force our principles down anybody's throat. Give, our the fruits of our labor to our allies, to our, people who are our benefactors and benefit from us, you know what I'm saying? With technology and otherwise, we have to build relationships with the world. No man is an island, and no country is an island. You know what I mean, though. Okay, so yeah, it's been corrupted, the power, for a long time, and that's mainly because the machine, our governments, our world governments, are all abiding, is measured in stocks and bonds. Okay, but to put it even more simply, money is the master, especially today, and especially in America. Okay, money is not the root of all evil. However, the love of money is a dark, dark road if material wealth is all one can measure their happiness by. As a person who will argue that he's worked very hard for his wealth by investing it here and there, Donald Trump, good job, I guess. But you did have help, You got the whole financial discourse on how buying debt could actually turn into like assets, and then managing these assets and tools to practice until you got great at making money. You know what I'm saying? But I bet you can't paint a picture. And it's not because you're some lazy or stupid person. It's just, you could actually sit down and take your time and try your hardest. But if you had never been taught, classical art or how to gesso a canvas, you would just really be making a mess. So, with that mindset, I want you to understand money doesn't make the man. And I feel like I don't really have to tell you that. I'm pretty sure you know it. But, when people be getting in your face and talking all that jazz and you just want to get them out your face, you'll say anything to get them out your face. I feel like you already know that. But I just want to say it just to make sure that you know that if you didn't have a dime tomorrow, if you just woke up in the world where you didn't have no money, you would still get out of bed. You wouldn't just roll over and die. You would probably feel that way for about 5 minutes, but you would still get up and you would live your life. You know what I'm saying? You're a person. You're a human being. You're not fucking numbers in the bank account. Okay? Especially now. Now you're responsible for an entire country. You gotta be a little more selfless. A little more philanthropical. That can't be a word. But you know what I'm trying to say. Philanthropical or altruistic, maybe. Is that it? I don't know, somewhere in between both of those, but you gotta be that guy, you know what I'm saying? You got money and you're in the government now, you're in a good place to benefit people who are in less fortunate situations. And I'm not saying this as a you should hand out things. I don't think that's not what I'm saying at all. I don't think you should just hand out money. But as somebody who knows how to distribute wealth and how to make investments in things that can, return your money or make you money, or not even money, make you wealth, make you wealthy and karma. You know, you gotta think like that. Now you have to, or otherwise you are not gonna make it through these next 4 years. They are going to tear you apart. Okay, and I say that because you are not a politician. You are not a rotten, cold-hearted, beastly person. I know you probably can be, but you don't want to underscore that and highlight that in yourself. And you will come to find out there is power pulling the strings behind a lot of these puppets you about to meet if you haven't already. So I'm taking you there. I'm taking you there, and I want you to know in advance what you're getting into. Yeah. So this gift of presidential office is what being born the right gender, color, and name has earned you. The right to liberty and pursuit of happiness. And like I said, I love being American in the realest sense. You know what I'm saying? And I don't, a lot of people have problems with this country because of everything that has gone down in the past. We have a bloody history, but what country doesn't have a bloody history? The only difference between our country's bloody history, and other countries' bloody histories is that their bloody history dates back like thousands of years, not 300. Our shit is still fresh. We're still healing. Our whole country got daddy issues. You know what I'm saying? We ran away, or our founding fathers ran away from England, from their king. Like, we're gonna have a country that doesn't have a king, that is supported by a democracy. You know what I'm saying? These are ideals, but it's like, well, who's gonna build your country? Those people in Africa, they owned slaves, didn't they? We could just buy their slaves. Yeah. But what if we didn't buy them? What if we just took them? Because all we really got to do is get them over here, and they can't get back home. What changed the tides of everything that we kind of have developed our culture on as Americans was a gun. You go over in somebody's country wielding a sword, and if they can fucking fight you with a sword and match your skill, you ain't going nowhere. You ain't taking nobody. And that goes for any weapon except for your gun. That's the great equalizer right there. So, but fuck all that. Fuck slavery. Fuck Jim Crow laws. Fuck women's succession. Fuck the civil rights struggle. I wasn't there for none of that. I don't really want to be defined by struggle and blood and, all the fucked up shit that makes us, that's not what I'm focused on. Okay, I wasn't there for that. But, I was there to pledge my allegiance to my flag for the first 10 years every day of my young life, And even as that tradition kind of like died out, when you really say the words, and you like mean them or listen to them or believe them, it kind of rings out as like a prayer. And that goes for like the Star Spangled Banner and Purple Mountain's Majesty, and like, you know, all our tall tales, Paul Bunyan, John Henry, Johnny Appleseed. Like, that stuff is fucking, that's America. That's the good home bread, like stars and stripes, feel good America. That's what I like about, you know, being American. You know, that it's like all of those examples underscore like legendary um standards, you know, and like our strength in the pillars that uphold these principles, like justice for all. You know, it's like if everybody actually believed this, we wouldn't have a problem. But people, they use it to and abuse it. You know, they use it against you, just like people who use the Bible to attain like evil means. You know, there's so many people, and it goes like this with law too. You know, injustice and these principles. You see what I'm saying? Um, yeah, people, and especially corrupt people in government, are very manipulative, and they've gotten this way because they've gotten so good at it. Because they've, you know, the office of the president is only held at the maximum 8 years, but all these other government representatives, senators, and Congress people and governors, they motherfuckers always be like 80 years old and have had this position damn near their whole life, and they still running it like it was 50 years ago, and it's a new country. You know, it's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. You know, we got internet and we got the NSA on our ass. So it's a new world, you know? And I want us, me, you, and the rest of our country to not be distrustful of one another, because you gotta do this. You gotta keep this face on for the next 4 years, and you are gonna have some hard times, and there's gonna be times when you want to give up, and there's gonna be times when you can't let nobody see that you have a heart. You know, it's gonna get so real for you, and I feel everybody's just, you know, like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm so disgusted by this, but I feel for you as a human being, because you are 70 years old, and you know, you made all this money you worked for to keep your entire life. You could have retired on a fucking island somewhere, and you took the hardest job in the whole fucking world, and it don't even pay shit. Like, that is, that's kind of a selfless move, man. Like, it can be corrupted, you know, as I've said many times, but even doing that is just like, why would you fuck yourself over like that when you could have just been like, you have been living large, and you could have continued that until you died, unless you really care, you know? You know, that takes, you measure a man, you know what I'm saying? When you really put all this stuff in perspective, I'm like, yeah, you know what? It's kind of cool that we got somebody in office with their own money. They don't have to be swayed by people who corrupt in the government. You know, he don't have to abide by that because he got his own money. If it's some stuff that you know, you want to fund, and you getting all this resistance because you getting voted out by people who got a hidden agenda they trying to perpetuate, you know what I'm saying? You can just go to your, if you really believe in it, you can go to your own private funds, push that shit through privately, or you can raise it or and make some kind of investment and just get that shit because you're a money genius and do it how you want to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's the part that is like could really make you powerful. But at the same time, you don't know who to trust because you can't keep your eye on everything. You know, you have to uh, dictate and designate. What's it? De- Not designate. You have to give out these tasks. Delegate. You have to delegate tasks to you know people who have to delegate tasks to more people. You know, it's a trickle down thing, and you know what you say to them might get you might get 90% of it to the next person, and then that person might get 50% of it to the next person, and then by the time it get to where you needed to go and do what you needed to do, if you're not there in person to see the shit going happening, they can just write anything down on paper and you know put it across your desk and you sign it and the shit is done. And you know you sitting in Congress in the the excuse me, the Supreme Court like 6 months later, like what the fuck? I didn't do this. Here's your signature. This the kind of shit I'm talking about. I've never been uh, an elected official who works in the government, but I live amongst these motherfuckers for a long ass time, and I know how slimy they can be. And sometimes it's because people just twisting their arms, you know what I'm saying? And I know you know because like when it came out that you said that shit that you call locker room talk, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure that when that came out and you knew it was gonna come out because you was like, oh my god, I remember that time that happened. And as soon as you remembered it, it probably popped up. But I'm sure when that surfaced, you were probably really ashamed of yourself. You were probably really embarrassed. But if you had come out and said that and was just like completely contrite about it, the media and the politicians and the lobbyists, everybody would have just fucking and flipped on you and twisted it to make you look weak instead of like somebody who has a heart. You know what I'm saying? You had to just like, yeah, I said it because it was just locker room talk, you know. But at the same time, to me, you know, you saying that embarrassing shit just kind of made you human. It humanized you. It's like, okay, you know, you can like take for example, like a peacock. You know what I'm saying? They got this big beautiful tail that they use to, you know, attract the ladies. You know what I mean? They get one in their sights, fan it open, and they can do a nice little dance for the hand. Like, come here, Chicky Poo. Come here, girl. I know you like that. But if two peacocks who are male are fanning their tails at each other, it's like flexing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, nigga, you want some of this? This is the fan dance right here. Nigga, what you want? But I digress. Okay, my point is, you know, it's easy to get caught up in this minute bullshit because, you know, with the campaign, this whole time, this whole race, everybody just got fucking discouraged. They were just like, if I vote for Hillary, it really doesn't matter because she probably won't win if whoever really the electoral college, whatever the fuck that is, I don't think anybody understands that concept because we supposed to live in a democracy, which basically means no matter what, all the people in this country, it's like 300,000, no, sorry, not 300,000, 300 million people live here. If the majority of those 300 million people voted for her or for you, you know, then that's who should be in office. But in the end, that's just the popular vote, you know. So then the electoral college comes in. It's like, who the fuck are these people? I don't know none of these people. I'm not one of them, you know. And don't I constitute what a democracy? It's supposed to be me and 300 million other people, but you're just letting the electoral college be the deciding factor. I don't. And is it a real college? Like, do you go there and learn political science and like arts and humanities? Is it like a college like that? How you get in? Do you have to pay tuition? I don't get it. You know, I'm not trying to say that shit. I don't fucking understand it. It's been explained to me, but it's just like this foreign concept, like the Federal Reserve, which was apparently a private bank. What? Why they call it the Federal Reserve? Because the government reserves the right to take money out of it. I'm just kidding, but I'm not. All right, let me back it up because I just went off on a tangent. Anyways, as I was saying before I so rudely interrupted myself, I believe in, all our American ideals and principles, in the pure way, like good, standing against evil and justice, and I'm an idealist. I am, and I have no doubt in my mind that every soldier with feet on foreign soil, you know, believes that in their heart that they fighting for a just cause. Because to go and fight and die for your country, takes a lot of heart, for, if that's what you really believe that you're doing, you know what I'm saying? Or to go and fight and die for your family, for your right to be and live free, and this is what they believe they're fighting for. So they deep down in their heart, they really believe in their cause. But in a time where a drone can drop a bomb with better precision than it can deliver a package, it's easy to get lost in the machine, and lives are at stake, So, back in the day, not even that long ago, I'm going to just tag 200 years ago, a king will go into war with his men. You know what I'm saying? He might not go and fight, but he will be on the battleground, overseeing that shit. It was like a chess game. You know what I'm saying? And now, sacrificing your pawns is not nearly as it's not nearly as crucial. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. It's not nearly as detrimental as it used to be back in the time when a whole army is descending, a whole nother king's army, with him standing in the background, is descending on this king's army, and it's like, if anybody gets through, your king is fucked up. Now our president sitting in the back end, comfortable, in their home country, sending their pawns to go do their dirty work. They don't even have to get their hands dirty anymore. So it's all fucked up, it's got to change, because like I said, it's a lot to do with guns. It's a lot to do with guns, and I'm not saying that guns are necessarily a bad thing, but we never got control over that power, right now technology even is owning us, you know what I'm saying? Our fucking computers are smarter than we are. Our Siri can probably, it's like that, and nobody should be content and living like this. You know what I'm saying? Of course, people who don't have to deal with it face to face. Your village didn't get bombed last week. You don't have to really think about it. It's like, oh, that's terrible. But then, what's in front of your face right now is I forgot to take my socks out of the dryer. That's the real tragedy, is waking up in the morning and having to stand on a cold floor. But you see what I'm saying? So let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? Um, you got a lot of haters, and you don't care. It's water off a duck's back to you, because you always had money, and that always came with fake and phony people trying to get in your pocket. A person can only really take so much disappointment, and so now you got the world governments putting targets on your back. You can't really ignore that shit no more. You can, but a bullet is a little more decisive than sticks and stones. So you gotta make nice. And what you're gonna learn in the long run, now that you're meeting all these people and you shaking hands and you getting to know all these officials, it's a lot of ego involved. A lot of ego in things that don't have to do with the individual. You know what I'm saying? You would send people to war because your feelings are hurt over something that was an exchange between you and one other person, or you and one ambassador, or you and represented by, they represent a country, but it's like, oh, I just hate all y'all motherfuckers and I'm ready to go to war and destroy your whole everything that you believe in and have established as a civilization because my feelings are hurt, because you hurt my feelings. Now you have to care, especially you. You have to care. You can't say I don't give a fuck anymore. And that doesn't mean, rolling over when somebody is threatening you. Like, if you don't pay me this much, I'm going to hold these people for ransom. Or, not those terrorist acts. I'm not talking about that. But, because you can't be a pushover either. But at the same time, your level of empathy it has to grow in order for you to be able to do this job and not lose yourself in the process, because no matter how well you do it, you could do it perfectly. People are still going to hate you. Not everybody. You might, get more people on your side, but there's always going to be people that hate you. Hate you because you're white. Hate you because you're rich. Hate you because you have a comb over. I hated you for that. And then you surprised me by actually having hair up under there. What is that about? Stop. Stop it. Who has a comb over if they're not hiding a bald spot? And then you didn't have a bald spot. Like, who does that? So, yeah. If you're not scared now, you about to find out. And you're probably gonna be scared a lot in the weeks, months, and years to come, because you struggle to attain, your lifestyle and your money and keep it. You fought for that. You earned it. And it's a very real possibility that you can lose it all. I don't wish that on you, because I know that being able to afford a certain lifestyle has made you accustomed to certain things. I don't wish to see you fall, because I feel like if you rise in this position that you now currently hold, you can just extend your prosperity, and raise the entire wealth of our country, by just having the having, what, let me back up. I feel like you are the type of person who has a decisive interest in the type of personalities that could benefit not only you monetarily, but humanity as a whole. Because I've seen, I wasn't like a real big fan. I didn't like watch the beginning, middle, and end seasons of The Apprentice. But you have a hand in the fucking Miss Universe pageants. You know what I'm saying? You probably think a lot of these bitches are dumb, but at the same time, you have been giving your money to maintain this tradition, and for the most part, even if they're just reciting, shit that they memorized, you do hope and pray that these women are just as beautiful outside that they are inside. Inside that they are outside, I should say. That's the whole point of pageants. And your apprentice, what I'm saying, you be putting people on blast for, you know, stupid ass mistakes that they shouldn't be making at a certain level of business relationships. So I believe that you have um this discerning taste in human people that will make you very important and very like um progressive in the people that you choose to keep close and trust in the years to come in office. Yeah, good. You got it. So, what else? Oh man, knowing the difference is a big deal though. But I think with a little bit of I don't know, they so slick and slimy though. But I was gonna say a little bit of training, you might be able to just see them from coming from a mile away. But it's a different type of animal. I know you've just done business with the dirtiest of them, but even people who are like the sharks in the Shark Tank, even people like that, they outright kind of just slick, and you can see them coming from a mile away. Oh, I know that motherfucker gonna try, you know, get one over on me, or he's the type of person who would take my money and run, or you can see those kind of shisty, shifty types of people when it comes to money from a mile away. But some of these government people are not always in it for money, so they can be real sneaky and they can play the long game of getting close to you, being a friend, because they don't have nothing to lose. In the end, they just want to watch the world burn. Not all of them, but you about to find out. You're gonna see who I'm talking about. Because there's a lot of them, and they're abundant. Because people who want to get into politics, for the most part, are misguided. A lot of people who want to get into politics, they want to be lawyers, they want to be judges, they want to be congressmen, they want to be senators, okay? But they refer to these classes as politics, okay? Let me explain something to you. The word politics is contingent on media. You know what I'm saying? Politics is perpetuated by the media. So they really want to get into governance, but they call it politics, and we all call it politics, and we just talk without really thinking about what we're saying. But at the same time, this shit weighs on your life, it weighs on your government, it weighs on your soul. Every word that you say comes out of your mouth. You know what I'm saying? And not just you, I'm saying everybody. We all call it politics, but it's not politics. And as we call it politics, we are actually feeding the machine that makes this dog and pony show we call a government go. You know what I'm saying? So nobody should want to get into politics if they're serious about, trying to make the world a better place. They should be getting into governance. or if you want to be a mayor, you shouldn't be saying I want to get into politics, because saying I want to get into politics means I want to be famous for being a governor. I want the media attention, that goes with that. That's what politics is. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. So, it's a mindset. And then somebody who, is on TV a lot, you know what I'm saying? I know that probably doesn't define you. You probably wouldn't care if you never saw another camera again. But know these things, you are like, what, 70 years old, and you just listen to you talk. I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but like you just don't seem like a very mature person. And I don't mean that in a bad way, because there's childish and there's childlike. A person who is childlike is not necessarily like immature in a way that's degrading. A childlike person could just have a really childlike sense of humor, or just laugh at anything, laugh at themselves. A childlike person could be a really fun person to be around, but a childish person can get really exhausting really fast in adult situations where you need somebody to be like mature. So I don't mean immature in that way. I mean, of course you said some shit, but you said that even when you were younger. And when I say not mature, I mean you mature in certain facets. Obviously, you definitely are more mature than 90% of the U.S. population in fucking making investments and fucking overtaking people's bank accounts or some shit. I don't know. I don't know nothing about that. So you know that. That's what you know. But as far as like just in your aura, your personality, you just seem like somebody who just never really grew up, which is a good thing. You know what I'm saying? When people grow up and they get old and they get set in their ways, you can't talk to them. You can't change their minds. You can't convince them. They know what they know, and that's the way it is. That's the way it's always been, and that's the way it's gonna be forever. I like that you're not like that, and that you're like 70 years old, and it's like, yeah, I feel like you could just like sit and pass a blunt with somebody and just be chill. I'm just talking. I'm just talking, but you know what I mean. So I feel like that gives you some advantage. You have to cling to that part of yourself and hold on for dear life for what's about to come, because a storm is coming. And yes, you have help, but like all of the help in the fucking world could not be enough for the responsibility that you have taken on. So, good luck. And I don't mean that sarcastically. I mean like good luck. You know. Again, I've gone off on a rant, and I don't know how to edit videos. So if the person actually sits through this I've been sitting here talking for 53 minutes. Oh dear God, if they sit through this whole thing, good on you. I've just talked too much. Calm over. It will fucking fail. I wish you'd do something with that shit. Now that you're president, you need to look like you care about yourself, sir. Stop wearing that. Now we all know that you have hair. The joke's on us. Okay, fine. You made your point. Now change it up. Swag it up. So you're not going to get any sleep for the next 4 years. And you're probably going to start losing your mind a little bit. In those times, I encourage you to reach out to me. You're the president now. You can find me. Don't be silly. I'm not gonna tell you where I live, give you my name, You don't need to know all that. Because you can find out. And if you do find out, then you know you've proven yourself worthy of my assistance. If you can't find out, why should I help you? For but I do have just ideas because I'm an I, idealist. You know, I have these utopic views and visions for life as it could be. I think everybody does, but you're told from a young age, it's like, don't you should hope and dream and never give up and blah 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 blah. But by the time you get out of fucking high school, you've been through the ringer. If you even make it through college, it's like, damn, this is rough. And then once you actually go out into the real world, it's like, all right, everything I was taught was a lie. I don't know how to adult properly. What I've been taught is not relevant to anything that I'm interfaced with on a daily basis. So I just kind of have to learn how to fit in and, you know, conform to the world around me that was not the world that was sold to me as a child. Not even as a child, just growing up, as an adolescent, as a teenager, as a young adult, until you get out and then you actually experience the real world. And you're like, what the fuck is this shit? Everybody goes through that. Why is that something that everybody knows how that feels? You know what I'm saying? And it's not foreign. Everybody's just like what happened? So, some of the biggest things I'm just gonna list offhand because I could just be talking for days and days and days. We need to reimagine our K through 12 curriculums, create a stronger mental health institution and prison hierarchy. Routine psychological evaluations on public servants such as judges, lawyers, those in military and law enforcement by unbiased private companies that can't be bought by the government should be in place. And I even have a plan for guns. So look, calm down. Everybody fucking stop clenching because the gun thing, nobody has a finite answer. You can't just take them away. I know everybody's just like, well, we shouldn't have guns in the first place, but we do. Okay, that's us. We had cowboys and Indians. That's part of our bloody history. They ain't going away. We took away alcohol with prohibition. You saw how that turned out. The fucking streets ran red with blood. It wasn't a good thing. You do that with people's guns. This was their alcohol. You do that with their guns, this is gonna be fucking chaos. So, what I think we should do is create like local, maybe not even local, but like regional armories, like libraries. And you need to pass a test to get your CCW and stuff, and to basically even go in there and like rent a gun. You know what I'm saying? So you could check out guns, all kinds. Depending on your level or your license or however many points you rack up or however you want to make the system so that it's safe. But this way it'll leave a paper trail and they can be tracked. And if you want to clean up all the ones that are unregistered, that would take more time because, there's a lot of people now that have guns that aren't registered. But if you offered an incentive, people would just come and turn in their weapons for money, or maybe if they wanted to go check out another gun, it's like, oh, I don't have enough money to check out this wonderful fucking M4 carbine with scope, and like, what do you need this for? Just target practice, because you ain't going to kill nobody because it's got a paper trail behind it and we're gonna find your ass. But if you wanted to and you had needed collateral, you could trade in a gun. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. 9 times out of 10, when crimes remain unsolved, it's because the weapon is missing. But if everybody had to check out guns, it would have a paper trail. And even if somebody was to get a hold of a gun that somebody else checked out, even if you went back and followed the trail to this other person, it looks like, oh, you the one. It's like, actually no, he took my gun last week. You still have somewhere to go. You know what I'm saying? So it would just simplify a lot of things. And then you don't have to take people's try to take people's guns away from, like, because you can't do that. You can't, intimidate somebody into giving you their gun because they could pull a trigger on you. The great equalizer. That it is. So I could sit here, and then we're at an hour right now. I could sit here and talk about the problem and solution with Russia and North Korea, but then we'll be sitting here all day long, and I can't believe I talked for a fucking hour. So I'm gonna just stop it right here. Um, you can call me when you realize you just ran away to join the freak show in the circus. Good luck.